Shut up and sit down.
The Central Coast has always been part of my life. I remember catching the train to visit my grandparents as a small child. I didn't experience much of the Central Coast at that stage. My memories are centred around my grandparents' house, the Point Clare train station and the local park. My mother chose to be buried with her parents in the Point Clare cemetery, although she herself never lived in the Central Coast. My uncle has lived up here near his entire life, and recently I've been coming to visit him and his boys a couple times a year. The Central Coast is quite a large location with a sizable population of 1/3 and is still considered part of the Greater Sydney area, with the Barrenjoey Lighthouse only a short ferry ride away. There are many young families and retirees who enjoy a higher quality life than in the big city. They have good access to many quality beaches, beautiful valleys, safe harbours and a large state forest to play in. There are more opportunities to do things here in the Central Coast than there is in the confines of a big city. One of the greatest deficiencies of the Central Coast is the lack of industry. Large numbers of people travel to Sydney each day for work. Most businesses here are typically targeted at the consumer. When we look at the main CBD, Mann Street, Gosford, we don't find too many B2Bs, agricultural or financial businesses. We do find a number of government-based social service providers, tertiary education and medical hospitals. The Central Coast has a large number of shallow lakes such as Tuggerah Lake, which is connected to the sea via the entrance. One of the other reasons I wanted to stay in Gosford was to finally visit Pindara Cave in Brisbane Water National Park. On my other walks I had to skip the cave because I was running out of daylight and chose to cut the additional 8 kilometres. But after 2 weeks of rain and with everything else I've tried to fit into my stay, I've had to give up on that walk. Instead I've managed to make it up to the Rambolaro Reserve, which has a traditional Australian lookout straight into the trees, but once had a good view over Gosford, and with the help of droney we can now see. Also a smaller lookout situated above the house that I'm staying at in East Gosford. I also managed to make it up to the Rambolaro Reserve at Mount Elliot, which overlooks Terrycle Beach, where I had an accident with droney. But with a good dose of luck and a little bit of skill, I've managed to put droney back together again. Terrycle Beach is a mini 50-year-ago Bondi beach. It has a number of nightclubs, many seafood restaurants, a patrol beach and a boat ramp. Bondi has since become so built up over the years that it has priced out all the young people and there's nobody left to party. That's one of my greatest gripes of Sydney, and the upper North Shore especially, is that everyone who can afford to live there is just going through the motions, a slave to their mortgage, just waiting to die. It's been the first couple of weeks into my trip and I'm already questioning my strategy for the big lap. I was planning to do this on a motorcycle through the Airbnb network, but after the first 100 kilometres I'm starting to see some flaws in my plan. A motorcycle reduces the amount I can carry to about 50 kilos. I originally worked on a thought that if I can close the bag, it fits, but that strategy is clearly wrong. Every kilogram on the bike is noticeable. Also, staying in Airbnb is a mixed kettle of fish. At the end of the day, you're staying in someone's home and you need to comply with their rules, although you're actually paying for the privilege. Airbnb tries to be a coordinator of individual contractors and does not screen or attest to the suitability of the hosts. This is already causing problems. As a paying guest in someone's home, I'm still being belittled as a freeloader who is not following the rules. A week in and I'm already withdrawing to my room and trying to stay out of the way so not to open up any potential sources of conflict. And I've already started taking incident notes in case I'm brought up before some complaints tribunal. I'm thinking of options on how I can change my plans, maybe making the maximum stay at any one location to a week, so not exceeding that honeymoon period, or only agreeing to stay with my host who can't make a claim of to be intimidated, or maybe ditching Airbnb and staying with professional hotels who have a greater interest in maintaining a good corporate reputation. There are some definite changes I'm going to make, like posting my videos after I've moved on, so I don't have to look people in the eye and explain my opinions. I'm still not sure whether I should let them know that I have a blog or not. But on the flip side, staying in someone's home is definitely more comfortable. Many motels are just sterile boxes with just a bed and a bathroom and little comfortable places to sit and work. My Honda motorcycle is holding up well. I've had a number of trips back to Sydney during my stay, and it can easily cruise on the freeway and filter through the traffic. Although one morning I had a problem with the rain and was so drenched that I was forced to wear wet boots and damp clothes all day. But on the flip side, I was able to enjoy a traditional omelette and read the IEEE Spectrum for the last time. I've been enjoying breakfast on my way to work at Kirribilli for over 15 years now. Its front tyre is wearing thin, and I no longer think I'll make it to Queensland before having to replace it. Checking online, there are a number of motorcycle mechanics at each major town, but I'll need to order in a Pacific tyre to match the rear. The place I'm staying at in East Gosford had NBN already set up with good Wi-Fi coverage throughout the house. There was not much need to set up Starlink. I've already changed the location to my next host's address, but maybe I should have quickly tested it before packing it away. I imagine being so close to Sydney that there is not going to be any differences between here and there. I don't know if this is a trip, an adventure, or a way of life. But I'm already 2 weeks into my big lap, and I'm thinking I can do this easily. My biggest issue is trying to limit the length of each hop to about 500 kilometres. But now I'm thinking that'll cause me to take longer than the original 6 to 9 month estimate. Maybe once I get away from the east coast of Australia, I'll start using that 150 horsepower motorcycle a little bit more liberally. The next stop is Port Macquarie, with lunch at Hawke's Nest and a stopover in Taree. Thanks for following my adventures around Australia, and remember to enjoy your day.